Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Plan Commission for Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. Please stand for the pledge.
States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Casper.
Present.
Commissioner Heiken.
Here.
Commissioner Berkey.
Here.
Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Riles.
Here.
Commissioner Meyer.
Here.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Ms. Nyes, any changes to tonight's agenda?
No changes.
Any citizens' concerns and comments? I don't know if...
I believe everyone's here for one of the two.
Okay. We have no consent items, so we'll move right along to items for review. Docket number 2023-04, request to permit a reduction in the minimum required building side yard setback from 6 feet to 3 feet for Juan Acosta at 179 George Road. Mr. Secretary?
Juan Acosta, property owner, is seeking a variation as required in Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-11. General development standards and associated sections to reduce the minimum required setback from 6 feet to 3 feet on the south property line associated with an addition to the existing garage located at 179 George Road. A zoning variation is intended to be a method of adjustment to equalize regulations where the zoning code has created an unnecessary hardship. A variation is designed to allow affected property owners the same rights and privileges that others enjoy in the same zoning district. In order to be granted a variation, a petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how their individual situation is unique or unusual. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request for variation meets the standards established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting material submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes, what have you got on this?
Okay, so in 2022, the petitioner started construction of an addition to their existing detached garage, and they were cited by code enforcement, and that's how they came in to get a permit to, well, they needed a variance. So the existing garage was 3 feet from the property line. Current code requires 6 feet. So when he went to build the extension, he just kept it in line with the existing code, or with the existing garage, which was 3 feet. But in reality, he had to have bumped it into 6 feet. So if he came in for a permit before he built it, he would have found out that no, he could not build it at 3 feet. So while the existing garage is only at 3 feet, that is an existing legal non-conforming structure, but you can't expand upon that. So that's why he's here for a variation. He's requesting the variation for just the garage, or the extension part of the garage, to be reduced from the setback to be reduced from 6 feet to 3 feet. And we did have one proposed condition for this. And it is, within 30 days from the granting of the variance by the Village of Wheeling, the petitioner shall submit an application for building permit to the Department of Community Development for the addition. Upon demonstration of compliance with all village regulations, the building permit shall be issued upon payment by the petitioner, in which the building permit fee shall be doubled pursuant to the schedule of village fees and charges. So this is typical, or this is what we do with signs. When you get a violation and then you have to come here, the permit fees are doubled. So I believe the petitioner is here, and yeah, you can come on up to the podium. And then I have some pictures. Oh, and the yellow square is where the addition is. I believe, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay. Come on up. Need to swear you in.
Hi, my name is Juan Acosta.
Need to swear you in first. Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yes.
All right. Name and address, please.
My name is Juan Acosta. I live in 179 George Street.
Can you speak into the microphone?
Get a little
Thank
closer.
you.
There you go. Okay. So what can you tell us about where we're
Well,
at?
when I started my remodel to renew my garage, I never thought of expanding the back of the garage. But now the day, my friends will say, well, why don't you spend it? You have the land and you just do it. And I started doing little by little, and I didn't realize I need a permit. And I did it without, and I'm sorry for that. And like she said, I just followed the other one, existing garage. And the reason I did it is because it was falling down. To renovate the whole garage.
Oh, the older
The
part
older
of the
one
garage
was falling down, and I did one wall, one season, and then the next year I did, why don't you just do the whole thing? And that's how I started. And I never thought I was causing a problem or anything, and it's so back to my land or my house that I never thought it would bother my neighbors or the village. And so it's one of the garages so way back to my property. Yeah.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Did anyone come tonight to speak on this besides Mr. Acosta? Okay. That's a no. So we will go to the Plan Commission and start with Commissioner Meyer.
Good evening. Just a couple questions, if you don't mind. I know you said that you followed basically the structure of your existing garage. Did you have any awareness that when you do construction, you need to talk to the village to obtain a permit?
I knew about it, but like I said, I started little by little, and at the end of the day, I was doing the whole thing, and I have my guys helping me, and I didn't realize that I was going to do the whole thing because it wasn't my plan, But like I said, like I followed the same line. I said, why don't you just do it, the whole thing, and that's it. But I knew you need a permit. But like I said, I didn't realize that I was doing the whole thing until I started the whole thing.
Can you tell me just relative to your neighbors, have they expressed any concern while this construction has been going on?
No, not at all. My neighbor, if you're facing the house, my neighbor to the right, he speaks to me once in a while, but he stopped when I was working, and he never said, do something, nothing about it. He was happy that I was fixing my garage.
And I understand there's a shed on the property as well. Is that going to remain?
They used to be there, they're still there, you can see the photo. They've been there since I bought the house, and they told me that I have to remove it, the two little houses. Now they told me that I don't have to, so I don't know where's the back and forth, but now, if I have to remove it, I will remove it.
Okay. Can you tell me right now, with the state of the addition to your garage, what is that state of completion? Are you in the framing process? Have you,
I would say it's like 90% done.
Okay.
With the siding and a few little things in the east side, but the outside is pretty much done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Riles.
I have no questions, thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Did you tear down the old garage?
I would say like 80% completely down, the old one, yeah.
So you used the existing pad,
Yeah.
and what did you do for the extension for a pad?
I put concrete, and I did like 3 feet down the outside area with paper, with blocks, and I put concrete in bars. I got photos. I believe I give some photos to that. That's what I did, and then the middle, I just put concrete on it. Like 6 inches of concrete, and like 10 inches of gravel.
I see. How much of a hardship would it be to move 3 foot of your extension to the other side?
It would be a lot of work. And the problem that, what I'm against to move it, is I don't see the point of it. I mean, I would understand, I mean, I know it's my fault that I didn't ask for a permit, and I'm saying sorry for that, but I don't see the point in moving it, because it doesn't affect my neighbor or nobody, because it's way back to the, and it will look so weird, I mean, the existing being on this side and this one going back only 3 feet. But if I have to come to that point, I'll just do it. I mean, but it would be very hard, because I have to pretty much cut it out, and the whole roof and the walls, and for 3 feet, I don't see the point of it.
Yeah.
If it was in the front of the house, I would understand, because it will completely change the way the houses are, but, I mean, the garage is way back. But if I have to come to that point to cut it, I mean, I have to cut it.
It's very hard to grant a variation when you're admitting that you knew you needed a permit, but you didn't pursue that before any of your work.
Yeah, like I said, I started the old garage, and I said, well, when I start doing it, I guess got a little crazy about it, and I just started doing it, and until I realized that I didn't have no permit, and then, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry for that, yeah.
How was the work discovered? How did it come to this point?
At the beginning, I guess I wasn't planning to knock it down, the whole garage, the old one. Because I did one wall, and then the other one, it was pretty much, all the studs were rotten. And I said, well, at this point, let me do the whole thing. And then when I did it, all the old walls, and one of my friends suggested, why don't you just extension put a little more into it. And it was a weekend, I said, well, why not? Let's start doing it. And then, like in 5 days, I was done, so I just
Yeah. How was it reported? How did it come about that the work was stopped?
I don't know, to be honest. Just the village was knocking my door and said to stop the work and
Okay,
put a sign in my window.
all right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Berkey.
I don't have any other questions, thank you.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yeah, can you clarify again for me how the pad is? You said it's rebar or,
The new one?
yeah,
Yeah. I guess I dig down at least 3 feet or more, and I put 3 bars in the bottom with concrete, and then I put like at least 3 pavers like 3.5 pavers. Bricks all the way around, and then I put concrete and rebars.
okay. Yeah, like, I'll echo what everybody else says. It's kind of hard to make a decision on this with what we were provided, so I have nothing else, thank you.
Commissioner Casper.
No questions.
All right. So your garage and the expansion has not been inspected by the village at this point, right?
It was a inspector at least 3 times. He went over there and he told me a few little things that it was wrong, and I fixed it, but he never gave me the permit for it. But it was, I can't remember his name, but at least 2 times or 3, for sure.
Oh, so he did visit the site?
I believe he's been there. I don't believe there's been a permit issued or a final inspection. I mean, because it's not complete.
All right. And Marcy, did you say something, that only 1 shed is allowed?
Yeah, I think we have to do the final measurements. I tried to get access to the site to measure them, and I was not able to. So he's allowed to have 1 accessory structure. If one of them is smaller than, I think it's 150 square feet, I can't remember off the top of my head, then he can keep one. And based on the drawing, it looked small, but someone will have to go out and measure the size of the sheds to determine. So he can have one of them probably, but maybe both of them. But are they going to stay like right next to each other in that location?
They are very small. One is 8 by 8 and one is like 6 by 5.
Right, so then you can keep both of them.
Yeah, they're not that big, but
What was the purpose of the expansion? I thought maybe it was to get rid of the sheds.
that was one of my points. And I run a business, so I put a lot of pressure washers and
Okay.
things like that. So I did it pretty much for storage. That's the purpose of it.
Okay, so you understand the condition that is attached to this now, that you will still need to apply for a permit?
I did apply for it, yeah.
Okay. And,
Okay, so then it probably got held up for this
Yep.
hearing and approval. So when it finally goes through, the fees will be doubled.
Okay.
so the bottom line for our group is whether or not we want to grant the variance then. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions from the group? Guess not. All right, so officially read that condition again, Marcy.
Within 30 days from the granting of the variance by the Village of Wheeling, the petitioner shall submit an application for building permit to the Department of Community Development for the addition. Upon demonstration of compliance with all village regulations, the building permit shall be issued upon payment by the petitioner, in which the building permit fee shall be doubled pursuant to the schedule of village fees and charges.
All right, with that condition, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Casper?
No.
Commissioner Heiken?
No.
Commissioner Berkey?
No.
Commissioner Meyer?
No.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. So,
4-3 against.
So this will go to the village board on March 6th, and the village board has the final say on yes or no. The plan commission is a recommending body. So you'll have to come back here at 6:30 on March 6th. Again, I'll send you the agenda beforehand. And it'll be the same thing, but with the village board.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
thank you. Motion to close 2023-04.
So moved. Second.
Casper, Heiken.
Yep.
Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. Next up, docket 2023-05, request for special use to permit a massage establishment, Lee Massage for Rue Day?
Yes. I've been practicing my pronunciation as Ruing Chang. Did I do it right? I did that right?
Okay.
But he goes also by Jim, my client. I'm Caroline Kaplan from the law offices.
Come on up here.
Sure. And then my client also has an interpreter with him.
Okay.
Which is his nephew. That's right, Jim. Good
We
evening.
have to open it.
And this is at 77 South Milwaukee. Yes, Mr. Secretary, please.
Exactly.
Rui Da Incorporated leasing is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, use regulations and associated sections in order to permit a massage establishment, Lee Massage, located at 77 South Milwaukee Avenue, which is Zone B3, General Commercial and Office. A special use is defined in the zoning code as a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on the surrounding properties. In order to be considered for special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes, anything on this?
Oh, since we have the petitioner here, I'll let them do their
Okay.
thing.
All right, we have to swear in anyone who's going to be talking tonight.
Yes,
Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
yes.
And state your names and business addresses as we
Sure.
go through the...
I'm Carol, good evening, and I do want to apologize, I did not realize that today is Ash Wednesday for anybody who had a conflict. Caroline Kaplan from the Law Offices of Caroline Kaplan, PC. You asked me for my address. I have an office actually in Waukegan in Chicago, but I've been practicing roughly, and in Vernon Hills as well too. I've been practicing remote for roughly the last 3 years, and we'll be returning up to the fair village of Vernon Hills by October. And I'm attorney number 6199480 in the state of Illinois. Present with me is also attorney Doug Cipriano, who works with me on a variety of cases as an equal, and he's helped me with the presentation tonight. My client, if I can introduce you to Jim, is Juan Cheng, and I'm very proud. We just, prior to coming here tonight, went up to the actual strip location of the mall and had a wonderful Japanese dinner. I recommend the restaurant right there as well too, because I always want to make sure I see everything personally, and I have been out of town. As my cover letter states for this, and I think it's very important when we look at these establishments, I had the pleasure of representing him starting in 2012 in Vernon Hills. He has a location that's really not far from here on Town Line Road next to the 7-Eleven, should you have any friends or neighbors to do that. He then subsequently opened up in Vernon Hills, from Vernon Hills in Highland Park on Central Avenue, and has another location there. And I did make an oversight, just to clarify. He also has a third location that I keep on forgetting about, that's in Lake Zurich since 2016. And he's been successfully operating all of them over this period of time. And they roughly all work the same, and this would actually end up being his fourth, not his third, location to open, and which we went to earlier this evening. I have not only represented him, I've had the pleasure of utilizing the facilities and primarily in Vernon Hills along with my family, and they're very clean, pleasant. They do a lot of reflexology, which is the foot part, and then also a table massage. It's a little bit more of the shiatsu, and they've been very reasonably priced. They've been hit hard with COVID, and so I'm very impressed that he's been able to keep his businesses operating, and he's ready to expand. We filed this application, and Marcy has been instrumental in helping us out. We've had some communication issues, and I've been working on this remote, and I just can't thank her enough for her help with getting everything in with multiple changes and things with this. Essentially, though, this is a turnkey thing. We've gone through the management company and obtained a lease, and this existing space there, which is on a first floor level, and it's right before the Athletico, if you're familiar with it, and I think there'll be some clients coming over from that. It was a prior massage entity that had some difficulties from years in the past. They actually have a sign, this existing sign, it says a name, I think it's SW if I read it properly, massage, and so the landlord is helping him, and our proposal will also be, if approved, to change it to say Lee Massage, so we're keeping the signage the same. Nothing else is changing inside it other than a beautiful job repainting and sprucing it up, and we have been given and sent over ahead of time the pages of the health code for the massage requirements for your village, which are, quite frankly, not that different from Vernon Hills or Highland Park, and he will be in full compliance with the same. But it's already structured to do the same. So there hasn't been any construction, dumpster, or any disruption, even with, contemplating this. I also think that there's only a certain number of rooms. There would only normally be typically, at most, there we go, thank you. I can actually read that. There would be typically only about 4 or 5 clients there at a time, so this will not impact, as we put into our cover letter, and I don't mean to be redundant, but I do wish to be thorough, any traffic or usage of it. This is really already set up. With it, even the signage wouldn't really make any type of a difference. What I think will be credible, and I can attest to personally, is how well-run this is, how pleasant it is, and what it brings to the community for another level of, and I can't recommend enough, the reflexology and the massage as a health benefit to the community. He also, over time, will be looking to see if there's additional people to employ, so it will bring some more jobs to the area, and more importantly, it will increase and not have another empty space in even just that one area. I also have to commend you for how the village has really grown, as some of the other ones have as well too. It's a great thing to see, and you've also made more recommendations so that there's more individual housing and towers and things for people that are not in a traditional family unit. And I know many of my friends have been downsizing or moving with kids off to college, and they're, instead of having to move out of the area, they are coming to Wheeling from Deerfield, Highland Park, Vernon Hills, now as I get into my old age with everything, and enjoying the amenities. I believe that this additional location, to here will be an improvement, just like we've been enjoying it in Vernon Hills and in Highland Park. I did have a chance to go personally walk through it myself too, and have a bit of sushi before this. And also he's the 100% shareholder of all these businesses. There are no silent partners or additional people involved, although I keep on trying to get his 28-year-old daughter to be involved in this, and she doesn't want to do it yet. So he's fully responsible for all of the businesses and running them on a day-to-day business. If there's any other questions or things that I've missed?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll start the other end. Commissioner Casper.
No questions.
Good evening.
Mr.
though.
Hyken.
I have no questions.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think.
Commissioner Berkey.
No questions either, thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good evening.
Really, the only question I have, and I didn't see it in the notes, was hours of operation.
Oh, you know what? I believe that we sent, did you get a copy of those? I'm looking to you, Marcy, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
For the, I believe I sent them over. If I can also pull them up on my phone, is that all right?
You can just tell us.
Oh,
It'll
that's
be
right, Jim is
recorded.
right here. So they want to know just the hours that you're opening. So you're opening every day of the week?
Open every day, just Sunday 11 to 8.
And then
Monday to Saturday 10 to 9. Yeah, different stories, same hours.
right. So he tends to keep those hours and all things. It will not be any later than that as well, too,
Okay.
with it as well, too. Sorry.
So that was
I think-
10 to 9 during the week,
Just Sunday 11 to 8.
11 to 8 on Sundays.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me that my own client was here to answer the question.
Yeah, just a note, if you include that into your information, then we don't have to ask.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I think it was one of the many attachments I tried to make sure I was sending over. I'm sorry.
That's all I have. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right, Commissioner Riles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, very well explained and detailed.
Oh, this is a pure pleasure
What-
to come back in and do.
Thank you so much. The question I have is just, it's a simple question. You talked about employment and, the town is really growing and booming.
Booming.
Well, it's getting there.
Well, as a lawyer that's done a bunch of real estate and corporate, and I've been a lawyer for 35 years, and I was downtown for 16, I was in Vernon Hills for the wonderful School for the Deaf for 16. I cannot tell you the number of businesses and I would start to cry if I did so, that shut down because of COVID and everything else that's happening. I can also tell you, as I've been ensconced in Michiana for 3 years, you can apparently go home to your hometown, that there's a lot of safety issues that many of the residents of the state of Illinois have looked at. And I absolutely commend the fact that, our schools up here in particular, my daughter graduated from Vernon Hills, when you see that mall is expanding. And as somebody who was only going to be a real estate lawyer, but I do many other things for the rest of my life, it's a wonderful thing to see nationwide what is going on up here and in Wheeling, and with all of it. And I've been also back downtown, coming in and out now and seeing how some things are growing or not. And it's a very big thing. So he does have, and some of these employees can go between various places, and most of them, quite frankly, are from China, and they have residency here, and will come over, but there still will be other people locally as well, too. But this will create jobs. And I always look at, as a real estate attorney, trying to help clients, the synergy of businesses. And I knew this strip, as I've known this strip personally, and I knew right away that the Athletico was there and how easy it is to go in and out. But I also came back to see everything very well maintained, and it's nice to see things booming. We should not take any of that for granted.
No. How many employees is he planning on having on staff daily?
It probably will be close to 4 to 6, and a lot of them will sometimes, there'll be a manager who's in and out, and he'll be there part of the time as well, too. So if it gets busier, and it has been very, very slow. We talked tonight about how slow it is compared to the boom times. If it gets busier, they could have more, but the nice thing is, in terms of the impact here, there are only so many rooms. So there's one room with the reflexology, and that's, if you're not familiar with that, they fill the water and you do your feet, and it's absolute heaven, and it's actually a traditional 5,000-year-old art of doing things. And then they have private rooms, so there's only so many rooms. It's actually a very small space, and it's very nice and quiet. It's extremely clean and cleaned up, so it won't be that hectic. But and then they just try to have enough people booked. There will be some walk-ins. It's not always booked ahead of time, but most people will book ahead of time on an app or.
But if anyone in the area is interested in working at the...
You should send them over, or my personal private cell phone number, which I use, is on the application. They can call me and we'll send them over. And the employees make good money while they're doing this as well, too. So, and hopefully it will add on to what's going on with people suffering with their personal trainers at Athletico and everything. And it really gets a wide variety of people there. It's what I always found fun about it in Vernon Hills. You could be next to an exhausted mom that just had her 3rd kid, or somebody's grandparent that's exhausted from babysitting the other grandkids. So it's great, but you'll have people from the community doing it. So, and it's not a huge job creator, but what I see in Wheeling coming here, and it really starts with the change of mindset of allowing the towers and the buildings and the 1-bedrooms and the studios and the 2-bedrooms for people who are divorced with 1 kid, or the kids are off to college. You create more and more people going out to the restaurants and to use things like this, and that's what gives us what we used to call our economy before COVID. So, but and you even have, the funny thing about this town still too is the kosher food that you can get at the Fresh Start and everything else. I know that seems like a small thing, and I know you're laughing, but
No,
I can't tell you the number of people who pitch to me in terms of coming back up here now that I'm old.
No.
That you've got this, you've got that. You're also, this is really not just Wheeling. This is the beautiful northwest suburbs heading over to the Botanic Gardens, and I'm not running for office or anything. This is, you have a whole area here with Ravinia and this and that, and a lot of people don't want to be in the big city anymore.
You're a great ambassador for our village.
I can be.
Thank you.
I can be. But it's just so pleasant to see.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
And I applaud you guys for doing it.
We appreciate you.
And I'm also looking forward, I know that there's The only thing is that this is a little bit more involved here than it was for him in Vernon Hills and Highland Park, quite honestly. But I know Connie is going to help out with the other signage and the massage requirements, which we've gone through with him, and the business application too, so.
Thank you so very much.
Commissioner Meyer, anything?
I just wanted to say thank you for your thoroughness, the personal attestations, and your investment in the community. I have no questions.
Thank you.
All right, and I have no further questions either. Ms. Nyes, condition?
Yeah, it's our standard condition for massage establishments, is that the petitioner shall submit an application, or a complete application for business license to the Community Development Department upon demonstrating the petitioner and the business operations complies with all requirements of Chapter 4.74 of the Wheeling Municipal Code. A business license shall be obtained prior to operation of the massage establishment at the subject location.
Thank you. With that condition, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Meyer Berkey? Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, so you
Everyone?
also
Unanimous.
will go to the March 6th Village Board meeting, and that's where you'll receive the final decision. And so the Friday before the meeting, I'll email you the agenda with
Great, and then is there a time for the meeting?
6:30 in here.
And
Same time,
in
same
here,
place.
and it's not by Zoom?
No.
You can't appear by Zoom?
No.
Nope? No?
In
And
person.
then, I'm so
2
sorry.
years ago, yes.
What? No,
2 years
no, I
ago,
mean,
yeah.
you won't believe how much more we're still doing by Zoom. I didn't get, and I should always know the name of the village attorney. You are?
Mallory Maluzzi.
Mallory Merlusi. Okay, great, thank you. I normally know the village attorney.
There will be a different one on March 6th, but
But there will? Who's the new one?
Jim Furlow is the primary attorney.
Yeah.
I covered the Plan Commission, ZBA meetings. He
Very
covers
good.
the Village Board.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I can't say it was a pleasure to come up through the rain for an hour and a half to get here tonight. And
For us either.
I hope everybody gets home safe before it ceases. But it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to I hope that you all come with your families to try the foot spa when we get it open.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, motion to close 2023-05.
So moved.
Second. Meyer Berkey?
Yep.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of February 8th, 2021. There was a correction, I believe.
Yes, so those have been corrected.
So, motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
So moved.
Second.
Casper?
Is that Casper?
Yeah.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Abstain as I was not present.
That threw me way off. Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer?
Abstain.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right. Other business. Ms. Nyes, anything going on?
No other business.
All right. Commissioner Meyer, anything?
No.
Commissioner Riles?
No.
Commissioner Sprague?
Thank you. I was going to bring up the non-airing of the meetings, but I've been informed tonight that it's on again.
Is it? Okay.
So I don't have that issue anymore.
On what?
On 17.
Okay, because
I don't know about
I do,
99.
we get 99, so
Yeah.
I don't know if my wife's at home watching. If you are, hi. Commissioner Casper, any other business?
No, but I'm sure glad I live in Wheeling and not Minneapolis, where they're getting
Yeah.
9 feet of snow.
My sister works remote, is a lawyer, and before not to come up from the city to do this because of the weather conditions and everything shut down. And I said, I have a meeting, I can't skip the hearing, so.
We don't allow that in Wheeling.
Yes. But I would say that the attorney who does the tax stuff is working remote, and the big on remote, and remote. But then the other attorney has flooded Wisconsin practice. There's only 3 of us that are attorneys in the Rosamond family, to Sarasota. But it was a pleasure.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Where did I leave off? Commissioner Eichen,
Thank you, no, I have nothing.
Commissioner Berkey,
I have nothing, thank you.
Mallory, anything from the legal department?
Nothing.
And I have nothing, so,
Holy cow.
yeah. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Meyer Heiken.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.